Need to improve your club on Ultimate Team? Check out IGGM for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Get an extra 5% discount with code NA. What's good, y'all? With this video, I'm going to show you guys a 3-4-2-1, which is a pretty interesting formation because this is honestly one of the first formations that I've tried this FIFA, and in FIFA in general, honestly. That's a 3 at the back formation. It's a really good formation in terms of slow progressive buildup. It's a formation that overloads the wide areas of the pitch so you can throw up a lot of players and get a lot of through balls on wide positions, especially to your fullbacks and to your wingers as well. And it's also a formation that's built pretty much like the 4-3-2-1, except it does have that 3 at the back system. It's a pretty fun formation to begin with, honestly. It's a formation that we don't really see, and I would also definitely say that this is a formation that does counter the meta, that I did notice that as well. Defensively, it's very strong, very consistent, having 5 defenders in the back consistently, while also still having a strong midfield ahead of it. It makes this formation very strong in the defense, and I would also definitely recommend this formation to keep on your list of formations if you need a formation to play out time, waste time, because this formation gives you a lot of passing options when you win the ball back in defense. It also just has a huge wall in front of your goalkeeper, basically, whenever you're defending or soaking in pressure from the other team's attack. And obviously, as you can see right here, this is my team that I've been using. And we're going to go straight into custom tactics, where you can see I have it set to my to my attacking right now. Also, although I don't necessarily use this for attacking responsibilities, technically speaking, I would have it set to ultra defensive or defensive. But I don't really care about organizing, so I set it to attacking. Defensive style balance with 38 width and 65 depth. 38 width, which is a bit narrower than my 4 at the back formations, primarily because with 5 defenders in defense effectively, you can afford to make this a little bit more narrow. With 5 defenders, there's going to be less space available on wide positions by the touchline, so there's no point really making this 40 plus really. 38 is going to make it very compact, while still keeping the same amount of space on the touchline available as a 4 at the back situation. So this means that the areas in the middle of the pitch are going to be way more tighter, so there's going to be less through balls for the middle, which is going to be a huge deal in terms of defense if you want to play out time, play it safe. And then you're still going to hold the same amount of positions out wide. So basically the whole point is to minimize through balls to the wide positions and through the middle, which this formation will do it perfectly well. 65 depth. To keep it short, I don't want to stretch this out too long, but to keep it short, it's better than 71 depth. Takes less skill, honestly, in my opinion. It's less harder, and it's more consistent to use. Although, like I say in other videos too, you can use 71 depth. This formation doesn't really require it though, compared to other formations. You don't really need 71 on this formation. You could bump this down to 60 if you felt like it. But personally, I think 65 is a golden number at the moment with the meta how it is as it is. But to play balance of chance creation, direct passing. The reason why we use this is way more important than other formations like the 4-3-2-1 or the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-4-2 or things like that. We want this because we want to have the option of short, quick passes or long balls while also still having through balls. And balanced direct passing as a combination will maximize all of these things. We don't want to use something like long ball or forward runs or whatever they're called, honestly, because we still want to be really progressive in the build-up while maintaining every option as is, and direct passing balance is a great combination for that. 45 width, because honestly the whole point of this formation is to structure it in the attack like a 4-3-2-1 while still overloading the wide areas of the pitch with fullbacks. So 45 width is probably the best thing you can use. 6 players in the box with 2 corners and 2 free kicks. Specifically with the 6 players in the box, as we know in all the videos that I state, 6 acts as a limit rather than the literal amount of players in your box. You're never going to have literally 6 players in your box because that's just way too much. Rather, if you do choose to have a player attack into the box that's normally not attacking to the box, like an extra fullback or maybe even a center back, depending on how you want to, this is going to allow them to stay in the box for the remainder of the attack. So if something happens and you end up conceding on a counter because you got an extra player, then you can take responsibility for that because you chose the risk of dragging a player out of position into the attack. Before I go ahead and show you guys the instructions, I just wanted to briefly mention that, as you can see on the screen right now, the rate of subscribers is pretty interesting. If you're new to the channel, then I figured I'd just let you know right now that I do create original formations. My goal is to show the community meta formations that'll help you improve your weekend league because, in my opinion, tactics are really important, especially this FIFA. So if you're looking for up-to-date formations based on the metas and things like that, go ahead and subscribe. Additionally, I'm building a new Discord community where you can find FIFA discussion for things like tactics, squad building, daily content, anything FIFA related. So if you're looking for one of those as well, you can find it with the link in the description. Going straight into the instructions, you can see as our striker is right here. You can have him on stay central, get behind, stay forward. primarily because with wingers, you don't need him to be on drift wide or even on balance. You just need him to stay in the middle because that's all he needs to do. Getting behind and stay forward is going to primarily focus him on making sure that the defensive line is always pushed ahead or being pushed forward into causing, forcing pressure with the other defense. This is crucial this FIFA way more than other FIFAs because the meta right now is having a high line with defense. As you can see with the fact that I had to use 65 depth, most players will have a depth above 60. So you're going to need a player that could at least force some sort of space. And having a striker on stay central, getting behind, stay forward is not only going to be an obvious choice in the counterattack, it's also going to constantly keep the defensive line in motion, find you spaces of passing to find, And this is right here where it gets a little bit more confusing. So you're going to have two wingers, obviously, or two, they're technically considered center forwards, but I'm going to call them wingers. You're going to have one on balanced width. You're going to have one on all default with comeback on defense. And you have the other on completely default. Now, the one that you want on come back on defense is going to be the one with the same side where, as we go to the fullbacks right here, one's going to be on comeback on defense, getting behind, and the other one's going to be on comeback on defense, balanced. So the one that you want to attack with, the fullback, the one with getting behind, obviously you're going to have to choose the forward or the fullback that has better attacking stats. For me, I chose Marcos Llorente. His corresponding winger, you're going to need to put on comeback on defense. The reason why we do that is because just in case this guy steps up higher, when this player right here, when the fullback steps up higher, the wing is always basically going to drop back a little bit just to cover space behind him. This is always going to happen with this formation because this formation is structured very well to not be too vulnerable in the counterattack. So this winger right here can take this guy's spot if you decide to, go for a cutback angle or anything like that, a really aggressive run with this player. And he's going to make a lot of really good runs in behind, so keep that in mind, especially for the counterattack, because this guy right here is going to drop back and take up his space just in case it's needed. Same with the center back, same with the center mid right here. He'll be right behind just in case. But yeah, getting behind on one winger and then come back on defense on the other. Come back on defense on both, obviously, but one of them is going to be on getting behind. The other one's not going to be on getting behind. And as we speak on this fullback right here, this guy's basically just going to be a midfielder, if anything, on the build-up. He's not going to make runs in behind unless you explicitly use your left stick and drag him into that position. This guy right here is basically just for distribution purposes, always being an open player. So if you want to switch the ball, let's say you have the midfield possession and you want to switch the ball, you can switch it to this guy right here for a safe option, and then you can switch it to this guy right here for a penetrative run. And then your two midfielders, the double pivot right here, one's going to be on stay back while attacking cover center, other one's going to be on bounce attack cover center. Like I do this with every single midfield that I can. The one that's a more CDM oriented player or a more playmaking player, obviously, like Bruno Fernandes is right here, you're going to want to stay back while attacking because you want him to make crazy ass long balls, things like that. And then the one that you want to use their dribbling more, make penetrative runs in behind as well, alongside the striker at times, kind of like a Bellingham player, balance attack, cover center. I do this with basically any single formation that has two center midfielders. It's honestly the best way to go. You'll notice that this player right here will tuck in behind the other player during attacks. This number 8 right here is going to be focused on making runs in behind, finding spaces of, kind of like a cam. He'll find spaces in the final third even. And then this guy right here, obviously, you're going to focus on giving him the ball, being the playmaker, or being the anchor, to reset the ball, things like that. Bruno Fernandes is perfect for that because he can just spam through balls or long balls like crazy. So make sure you have a player with good passing play styles. If you want to put him right here, you can put someone like Conte as well. It's up to you, really. Just keep that in mind. And then all three of your center backs, they're going to be on stay back while attacking. I do highly advise that you put the faster players out wide because these are the players that are going to be at risk during through balls. These are the players that get challenged usually. And you can put your strong man right here. I have Theo Fernandez and Carlos Alberto in these wider positions, and they basically have max pace. So I don't really see an issue. Whenever through balls are attempted, they always get the ball pretty effortlessly. So there's no one else I'd really recommend for these type of situations. And then your keeper comes across a sweeper keeper. I do this for all the formations. If you're new to 3 at the back formations, this formation is a really different formation to the meta. That's why I do call it a meta killer, because a lot of people defending against it are way more unfamiliar with it. So if you're playing 3 at the back for the first time, you're going to have to get used to it a little bit. This does not play like your just traditional 4-2-3 on at all. This is completely different. If you're looking for a formation that, makes you basically rethink how you're playing FIFA, then this is going to be a really fun one for you, because at first I kind of struggle with this formation, I'm not going to lie, because I tried to play this formation like any other formation, but this formation can be a huge issue for the other team if, they're struggling to basically get the ball off you because you keep switching the ball from pitch to pitch, or from flank to flank, or you're just, keeping the ball really well. having a asymmetric attack in terms of fullbacks, with one fullback being focused on maintaining the ball, which for my situation is the right fullback, and then the other fullback basically just making those penetrative runs in behind, you'll find yourself being able to find passes consistently. So basically for upcoming weekend leagues, what I'm personally doing is using this formation to drag out the end of the game, because this is still a very viable formation in the attack. I'm still scoring a lot of goals. However, since I'm a little bit more unfamiliar with it personally, this is a formation that I'd use for the sake of possession, maintaining possession. Maybe if I'm playing against a player that's controlling possession significantly better than I can control possession, I'll use this formation, employ it, and then focus myself on attacking through the wider positions of the pitch. I'd highly recommend you try it yourself, get familiar with it, give it a few games, but it's important to remember that this formation plays completely different. But I definitely had a lot of fun making this video. I normally don't do 3 at the back formations because they generally do play a lot more differently than 4 at the back formations. And honestly, I could find them a way too slow for my liking. I like playing really, really fast. However, this FIFA, division rivals can be really sweaty, so having a formation ready for being able to attack while taking less risks than you really need to is going to be really important if you want to draw out games. Also, like a little side note, if you have Bruno Fernandes, this formation is going to be insane. Primarily because when you have that penetrative run in behind, you can constantly just spam lob through balls over and over and over again. I literally feel guilty when I do it because it feels so ratty to me, because he always gets that perfect run in behind, especially if you have a player with quick step. But if you have those players, then this formation is going to be like a complete frustrating formation to play against, But other than that, that's it for this video. If you like this formation, if you found that this formation helped you in Weekend League, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions for me, obviously leave a comment and I'll be able to answer them as quickly as I can. And for this video, that's all.